I've already put in for vacation for next year because I'm not doing this again.
The traffic is incredible. The Nights of Lights is completely out of hand.
In the beginning, they were lovely. Now they're the Nights of Fright.
Residents voiced their anger about Nights of Lights at last night's St. Augustine City Commission meeting ahead of a presentation by the city manager.
Traffic was one of the top concerns. City Manager David Burcham.
We saw all primary and secondary roadways into town completely blocked.
Thousands of people a night crossing the streets compounded the traffic problems.
They crossed during green lights.
The parking garage had to keep closing because it was full.
Between light up night and December 31st, the garage was closed 29 days.
There were free shuttles, but they got stuck in traffic too.
Our shuttling system was paralyzed because of traffic anyway.
Another traffic hotspot.
I don't know why people thought they could pull into Ripley's and park, but they were, and that bottlenecked that intersection in front of Ripley's.
The 66 public bathroom units just weren't enough. That led to full bladders and angry people.
We also saw vandalism and aggressive behavior. Beyond that, we saw complaints about public urination.
Garbage was a nightmare.
Large volumes of trash in overflowing receptacles.
Burcham said he heard a lot of complaints about not enough police protection.
They were there, but they just weren't seen because they were lost in the crowds of people.
Something they never saw before. People parking illegally on the Fort Green.
They were frustrated and they just started pulling up and parking right on the Fort Green.
The crowds slowed down reset times for fire department vehicles.
Normally that would take 5 minutes. In some cases it took more than 30 minutes.
Vendors were blocking the sidewalks.
They interfere with pedestrian traffic and cause a safety hazard.
Burcham made recommendations to solve these problems, and we'll hear those in part 2 tomorrow. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Liz Ryan.
This local news is a service of your hometown Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you.
It doesn't have to be fearful. It doesn't have to be stressful or even a panic.
Sergeant Dylan Bryan, Public Information Manager at the Florida Highway Patrol, getting the conversation going about the new Florida Hit and Run campaign, educating drivers what to do after a crash.
In response to a crisis in hit-and-run collisions, Bryan explains the basics of the Stay at the Scene safety campaign.
What we have seen is a slight increase in hit-and-run crashes, and we want to make sure that we get the information out to the public to understand perhaps the issues and the fear factor involved with hit-and-run crashes. When crashes occur, we want people to obviously pull over in a safe location, render aid if necessary, and then, of course, notify law enforcement agencies.
He says often drivers don't understand the severity of a traffic collision, even if it seems very minor.
What we do see is minor crashes are occurring, even though it's a fender bender or very minor crash in a parking lot. It's still a traffic crash. And when people leave the scene of that traffic crash, they've taken something that's been a very simple issue and now made it a criminal issue at that point.
Bryan adds one additional main point about what to do after a crash.
As a reminder, if a crash occurs, notify law enforcement, notify rescue, render aid, safe locations. These are all the elements that we want you to do. And then, of course, the officer will guide you and perhaps issue the report or document the case at a minimum within the computer dispatch system, exchange of information, however he decides.
For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
Let's get ready to rumble. It's St. Johns County Fight Night.
Local first responders will take to the ring Thursday night for a good cause.
Thursday, St. Johns County Fight Night will be back at the amphitheater where the St. Johns County Fire Rescue and St. Johns County Sheriff's Office square off in a boxing tournament. So all proceeds for this will be for the Police Athletic League and Diamond of Dreams.
Public Safety Officer Chris Naff with St. Johns County Fire Rescue tells us fight night starts at 6 o'clock.
First starting with the Police Athletic League kids who will be boxing, and then continuing with the Sheriff's Office and Fire Rescue. With just prior to that, we're going to have a grand entrance of pipes and drums, our honor guard, some speeches from the sheriff, and some local heroes.
And in other news, State Senator Tom Leake has filed a bill to establish a board of directors who will oversee the construction, commission, and administration of the Florida Museum of Black History on the former site of Florida Memorial University. St. Johns County was selected last summer as the preferred location for the museum. Under Leake's bill, the Florida Museum of Black History Board of Directors will be made up of 13 people. If it passes, the bill will take effect July 1st. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Daryl Moody.
And now you're up to date with St. Augustine's Local Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.